meeting is now in session. Wednesday, December 5th, 2018. Could you all please stand and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Could I make them?
Sure, can everybody please stand?
Yes, could everyone else please stand so we could have a moment of silence for the passing of our 41st president, George Herbert Walker Bush. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from November 7th, 2018. This was a regular board meeting. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve them as submitted for the meeting on November 7th, 2018.
Motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second by Rick. Any further discussion? I will be abstaining. I was not at that meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? One abstention. 4 in favor, 1 abstain. Public comment. Would anyone like to address the board with anything that is not on the agenda for this evening? Seeing none. Moving on to new business. Facility use requests for the Adams Memorial School, the Adams PAL basketball, 6:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and it is from December 6, 2018 to March 24, 2019. Mr. Levesque, are you here to speak to this?
Yes. Thank you for having me and allowing it to be on the agenda today. So this is the Adams Senior PAL basketball. It is for the 9th grade, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. The kids that do not play high school basketball for their school. We're looking to add Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the building usage form at Adams Memorial School from 6:15 to 9:15 until March 24th. That's to allow us to have a facility to use for basketball practices. The reason why it was 6:15 was to allow ample time between Bart Charter School and us.
Has this gone in front of the Parks and Rec Committee?
I don't believe it has to because it is the Adams Memorial. It doesn't fall underneath
All right,
the Parks
thank you.
Commission's jurisdiction.
You bet. Okay, what is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve facility use request for the Adams PAL basketball on Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays from December 6th, 2018 through March 24th, 2019, from the hours of 6:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m.
Motion by Rick, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jim. Any further discussion?
Yes, just a question. Donna, how's things been going with the use of a key for people coming and going?
So far, there's been no issues at all.
And my last issue is, it's a cold time of the year. Is there ample heat in the gymnasium area?
There is, yes.
Okay.
As you know, we have the temporary
Right,
heating
yes, I
thing.
do.
We use fans to bring the heat up, and the gym is, it's cool.
Right, well,
But
yeah.
with the activity, I think that's even better, so.
Okay, fine.
Coaches will take care of that, right?
Yeah. We can make them run a little bit more if they're cold.
There you go.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous, thank you.
Thank you.
Town building holiday closings, Donna.
This is to get guidance from the board. As you know, the Christmas holiday falls on Tuesday, and New Year's holiday is also on Tuesday, a week later. The clerical union and our DPW unions have negotiated over the years half a day on Christmas Eve. In the past, the town has been very gracious to employees and granted the full day before Christmas Eve. So just wanted to give the board an opportunity to review this, to discuss it. happy to answer any questions.
Any thoughts from the board? Questions?
Donna, I appreciate the survey results of other municipalities and what they're doing, and it looks like they're split right down the middle with regard to Christmas Eve. But New Year's Eve, it looks like the majority of other municipalities are open,
Yes.
either for half-day or full day.
Right.
I read that correctly.
Which I agree, and it tends to be, if there's any end of the year, 11th hour, that would be the day, so.
Right. As a member of the licensing committee, I am aware that New Year's Eve can sometimes be a very
Correct.
busy day for the town hall. So I just want to make sure that I was reading that correctly. Has there been, I see that some of the municipalities do a skeleton crew. It looks on both of those days, the Christmas Eve and the New Year's Eve, and then give some flexibility for workers to take the 4 hours
Liberally,
another time.
yes, yes.
Is that something that has been done here before or would
Yes, it
be
has, yes.
welcomed?
Yes, I mean, I think there are certain key departments, treasurer, the treasurer collector, town clerk, that, you know, I mean, that's where the majority of town business is conducted, in those offices. So I think it would be prudent to try to make sure that those offices were open. Town administrator's office, I think, is also equally important. But, you know, as you know, the number of staff people in each office has, you know, now we're lucky to have it, most places, 2 people. So it does make it difficult to keep offices open, but that's, you know, we certainly could do that, the skeletal crew.
And it would be business as usual on December 26th and the 27th?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And then the library, which has, you know, they have their own unique hours, Saturdays, Fridays, you know, they would retain their normal schedule as well later on.
Okay. And DPW, police, everybody's?
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, our police, they have a more complicated schedule. Of course, they provide service 24/7, so.
Correct. Okay.
I also had a question. Contractually, if someone wants to take a vacation day or a sick day on that time, they're able to do so. So this will, if we can attain what Christine was just alluding to, it'd have to be a gentleman and a gentlewoman agreement amongst the co-workers in the office.
Usually it's, you know, I think it would be a liberal thing where if somebody, you know, they had, you know, their time could carry over into the new year. Usually they have to
Right. Use it up.
use their time before the end of the calendar year. Certainly we would be liberal about that. So if they wanted to take, you know, an equal amount of time early in January, we would certainly accommodate that.
Okay.
Anything else from the board? Any motion from the board? Hearing no motion? Okay, move on. Approval of free parking for holiday season. This is in regards to, there is no cost to use the parking meters during the holiday season. And I believe we started to put the covers on those
Correct.
meters.
Yeah.
But it did not go through the proper protocol. The Board of Selectmen need to vote on this. So this is, as we have done for many, many years in the past, we have allowed free parking on Summer and Park Street through the holiday season. What is the board's pleasure? Is there any motion on that?
Do we have the traditional dates?
Usually this is brought to the board earlier, so that's my
Right.
fault. So I would say that I think traditionally it begins with holidays, which is the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and then continues through the first week in January, All Kings Day. I'm just guessing.
So basically, we're looking for effective immediately
Right.
through,
January's, whatever, I don't know, calendar with me, but first working day back. What's that?
Okay.
through January 6th.
I believe so.
January 6th. Okay.
It'd be a Sunday, yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion. The town provide free parking on Park Street and Summer Street, effective immediately through January 6th.
6th.
Motion by Rick, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any further discussion?
Yes, now this doesn't include overnight. That ban still is in effect.
Yes.
That's Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous decision. Okay, next we have approval of job descriptions. DPW Operations Supervisor, the Parking Enforcement Officer, and the Senior Planner. Donna, if you don't mind starting us off on this discussion.
No, so the three job descriptions, they have been developed, they have been brought to the board's personnel subcommittee. The personnel subcommittee has reviewed them. The parking enforcement officer, I think that's gone back a couple of times. The committee now has approved all three positions. The DPW operations supervisor, this position is in the new contract. For lack of a better phrase, I mean, I think it's really considered like the crew boss. It's still a union position. It's at the highest ranked union position, and it basically the person would work very closely with the DPW director, but they would be the immediate supervisor of all DPW laborers and operations workers. The parking enforcement officer, this is a part-time position. I think this is something that's been in the budget for a couple of years. We've finally gotten down to preparing the job description. It would be a position within the police department. It's a non-union position, I believe.
Yeah, it says
Yes.
non-union.
But the individual would report to our police chief. And then lastly, the senior planner. This is, funding for this was in the current fiscal year budget. This position, I think the board has recognized, it has become increasingly important to have good staff support for our town boards, particularly our zoning board of appeals and planning board. I think we want to be much more business friendly as a community, and having this planner position who could not only provide staff support to the boards, but to help shepherd new businesses through our development review process in a very positive, productive way, I think needs to be a high priority for the town. So we would be in a position to advertise all of these positions if the board approves them as soon as possible.
Okay, questions from the board?
I have one. With the legalization of marijuana, there's nothing that says you have to be able to pass a drug test.
For which position?
Primarily for the non-union, because the union ones have that in the
Correct.
contract. But for the non-union positions,
I believe that would be covered already in the personnel rules and regulations. It may not be, state specifically recreational marijuana, but it certainly, I believe, generally indicates that an employee, while they're at work, cannot be under the influence of any alcohol or drugs. So it may be that is something, I think that's a good point. We need to review the personnel rules and regulations and perhaps tighten them in light of recreational marijuana. I think it's generally understood that employees are to come to work without impairment of any kind.
So I'd like to see the personnel subcommittee look into that. Don and I have discussed this already past week or two, And we also have the same questions, concerns you may have, so the Personnel Subcommittee will take a look at part-time employees with the drug testing and work with legal counsel. Anything else? Any other questions on these three positions?
Yeah, I have just a few questions. I noticed that on the positions, they don't give their salaries. I would kind of personally like to know what the salary scale would be. Is
Okay.
that something?
Okay.
For all three of the positions, so the people out there can hear what they are. So if you don't mind, could you go over, starting with the operations supervisor, parking control, and the
Yeah.
last being the planner?
I can't tell you, so
Okay.
we'd have to defer it to another meeting to be
Okay.
able to bring that information,
Okay.
so.
All right, yep, because I was just kind of looking, and I just saw, because I see that the hourly position, it's going to be an hourly position for the parking control officer, okay? And the other two, I believe, will be salary positions, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the DPW, that is set by the current contract.
Right.
Which the board approved a few months ago. And, it's spelled out depending on years of service and stuff. Obviously, as per, the town's personnel rules, we would advertise it internally for, I think, a period of 7 or 14 days before we would go outside the town. So that is pretty much, that salary range is fairly prescriptive.
Okay, so you're going to first put these out for in-house,
Yes,
all three of the positions?
yes, I believe so.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. And I'd just like to thank whoever the personnel subcommittee was. What I liked most about these descriptions, they weren't cumbersome, they weren't clumsy to read, and I think in the past, some of the job specs we had for certain positions were a little bit hard to understand, to obtain what we were looking for, but I liked how these were written, and I just want to thank, the subcommittee for doing it. I think they did a good job.
Thank you, Joe. I cannot take that credit. We did review them, Christine and I.
Take the credit either. There was a lot of Donna
Yes, we did review them.
finessing it.
and,
It's team.
It's a team effort. Okay, so we need the approval of these job descriptions. What is the board's pleasure? And we will get the salary scales, Joe, as you have requested.
I make a motion, we approve these job descriptions. Do we have to do them individually, or can we do them as a group?
I would think one at a time.
I would prefer to do it one at a time.
I mean, I do want to say, if the board would prefer to carry this over to a future meeting where I could provide a more complete picture of salaries, ranges and stuff, I'm happy to do that. I mean, we have waited a while, so it's,
And
It's
I
totally
wasn't
yours.
aware either until I was just told that these were going to be first posted in-house. I didn't realize that would be the case.
okay.
Yeah, I would actually be in favor of tabling all three of them to, address Joe's, question about the salary, but also making sure that Rick's point about the drug use policy is reflected, in particular the parking control officer, because that's a position that someone would be driving, it looks like. So I would make a motion to table all three job descriptions.
We have a motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Joe. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. Unanimous decision.
Question from the board,
Yes, sir.
the two salary positions, do those include benefits?
Yes, I'm
I
sure.
think so.
Sure. And this is all in part of our budget. Currently, we do not have a DPW director. Senior planner is very important. We are losing 3 small businesses in town in the next few weeks. So we have to get our act together as a community. So I think a senior planner will definitely help us in that area. So it's very important. Or we can just sit around and do nothing, right? We're not going to do that. So next on the agenda is license renewal applications. And I'm going to hand this over to our subcommittee, Rick and Christine. There's a lot to this, so this is a yearly event, and I will pass this off to the subcommittee.
Okay, before we get started, I would like to make a motion that we table all the license requests, applications for Zing Financial LLC, doing business as Adams Ale House. The license subcommittee has several questions and concerns that need to be addressed before approval of their renewal requests. And that would be tabling for the all alcohol license, Sunday entertainment, weekly entertainment, and common vic.
That would cause a public hearing, and that would be held next week,
Yes,
possibly, get it, so
Yes.
everything comes
with
together.
the chairman's approval.
So we would have a public meeting next week on that, the concerns for that business,
Correct.
okay?
And I will second
Okay,
Rick's motion.
we have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous. Okay, continue, please.
Okay, from there.
You got this?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, first up is the all alcohol package store licenses. They are to O'Gary's Package Store, Inc., 60 Commercial Street, Oasis Liquor Store, Inc., on 35 Dean Street, Val's Pipe and Package, 5 Columbia Street. Make a motion to approve the license renewal applications.
Motion by Rick, do I have a second?
And I will second.
Second by Christine. Any questions, concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, unanimous decision.
Next up is for wine and malt package store licenses. Make a motion to approve 7-Eleven at 223 Columbia Street and Tri Petroleum, Inc. at 160 Holland Ave.
Okay, we have a motion by Rick
I will second.
and a second by Christine. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, unanimous decision.
Next, the all alcohol establishment, and you wanted me to do this.
You can just say the.
All right,
the
make a
DBAs.
motion that we approve the all alcohol establishments for Nicholas Enterprises, DBA Bounty Fair Restaurant, 200 Allen Ave. We're gonna do
Who's looking at you now?
Polish National Alliance.
There you go.
I'm gonna butcher that one. On 13 Victory Street. AJ's Trailside Pub, Pleasant Street, Adams. Forest Park Country Club, 41 Forest Park Ave. DAWJRW Inc., DBA Wojo's, 27 Spring Street. Commercial Street Cafe, doing business as Viking Pub, 77 through 83 Commercial Street. Hofflinger House, 17 Commercial Street. Adams Turner's Inc., 6 Turner's Ave. The Grill, 77 Summer Street. Red Carpet Restaurant, 69 Park Street. Gebergs Viren, DBA Mountain Club, 6 Anthony Street. Adams Lodge, number 1335, BPO, The Elks, 63 Center Street. Dentsu Inc., DBA Chick's Lunch, 128 Columbia Street. And Adams Post, number 160, Inc., American Legion, at 160 Forest Park Ave.
Okay, what's the last one? Zing Financial?
Zing Financial,
It
in
was
which
tabled.
we've
We're
tabled.
holding.
That's, we're holding that one, thank you. Okay, we have a motion by Rick, do we have a second?
I will second.
Second by Christine, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed, none, unanimous?
Next up, wine and malt establishments. Make a motion to approve the wine and malt establishment request for Baskin Lodge Group LLC, 1 Summit Road, Cheese Chinese Cuisine, Inc., 13 Columbia Street, Yunlin Food Services, Inc., DBA Lee's Dynasty, Asian Fusion, 131 Columbia Street, James S. Viralis, DBA Pizza House, 26 Hoosick Street,
Okay, we have a motion by Rick. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Now, at this time, how many licenses, alcohol licenses, does the town hold?
Town holds. I have
Last page of the.
the
Certainly.
all alcohol license under section 12. We currently hold 14.
So we have 14 all alcohol licenses. How many are in use?
I'm sorry, there are 15 available. We've just put forward, I believe, 13 and holding 1. So we're looking at 14. If all goes through with the one that
There's
we've
14
tabled.
plus 2 special legislation.
Well, we do have one alcohol license that
Available.
available.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion?
I did just want to mention that all inspections have been done except for Bascom Lodge. That's an inspection that would be done in May when they reopen, but inspections can't be done until that point for that one. So I just wanted to make that point known.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, unanimous.
Okay, next up is Sunday entertainment licenses. Make a motion to approve the Sunday entertainment licenses for Bascom Lodge Group LLC, 1 Summit Road, AJ's Trailside Pub, 1214 Pleasant Street, TAW JRW Inc., DBA Wojo's at 27 Spring Street, Commercial Street Cafe, doing business as the Viking Pub at 77 to 83 Commercial Street, Adams Turner's Inc., 6 Turner's Ave, The Grill, 77 Summer Street, PNA, 13 Victory Street, Gebersvergen, DBA Mountain Club at 6 Anthony Street, Polanka Grounds, care of St. John Paul II Parish, 21 Maple Street, Adams Agricultural Fair, Bofield, Nicholas Enterprises, doing business as Bounty Fair, 200 Holland Ave.
Gotcha, the last one. Okay, motion by Rick. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Second by Christine. Any discussion on Sunday entertainment licenses? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, unanimous decision. Next is weekly entertainment licenses.
I make a motion, we approve the weekly entertainment licenses for AJ's Trailside Pub, 12 to 14 Pleasant Street, Adams American Legion, 164 Park Ave, Dentsu Inc., DBA Chicks Lunch, 128 Columbia Street, Forest Park Country Club, 41 Forest Park Ave, TAW JRW Inc., DBA Wojo's, 27 Spring Street, Commercial Street Cafe, doing business at Viking Pub, 77 to 83 Commercial Street, Haflinger House, 17 Commercial Street, Adams Turner's Inc., 6 Turner's Ave, The Grill, 77 Summer Street, PNA, 13 Victory Street, Gebersvergen DBA Mountain Club, 6 Anthony Street, Adams Lodge, number 1335, BPO The Elks, 63 Center Street, Nicholas Enterprises, DBA Bounty Fair, 200 Howland Ave, Bascom Lodge Group, LLC, 1 Summit Road, Polanka Grounds, care of St. John Paul II Parish, 21 Maple Street, Adams Agricultural Fair, Bofield, Adams, Youth Center Inc., 20 East Street, Adams.
Motion by Rick, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous. Next is the common vic licenses.
Okay, make a motion for the common vic licenses, or I should say common victular? Yeah, that word. For AJ's Trailside Pub, 12 to 14 Pleasant Street, Forest Park Country Club, 41 Forest Park Ave, KWJRW Inc., DBA Wojo's, 27 Spring Street. Commercial Street Cafe, doing business as Viking Pub, 77 through 83 Commercial Street. Hofflinger House, 17 Commercial Street. Adams Turner's Inc., 6 Turner's Ave. The Grill, 77 Summer Street. Red Carpet Restaurant, 69 Park Street. Excuse me. PNA at 13 Victory Street. James Esferelis, DBA Pizza House, 26 Huzik Street. Gebergsbergen, DBA Mountain Club, 6 Anthony Street. Adams Lodge, 1335 BPO, The Elks, 63 Center Street. Dentsu Inc., DBA Chicks Lunch, 128 Columbia Street. Cheese Chinese Cuisine Inc., 13 Columbia Street. Nicholas Enterprises, DBA Bounty Fair, 200 Holland Ave. Bascom Lodge Group, LLC, 1 Summit Road. Adams Post 160, Inc., American Legion of Mass, 160 Forest Park Ave. Jason Donuts, Inc., DBA Dunkin' Donuts, 177 Columbia Street. Original Submarine Corporation, DBA Angelina Submarine Shop, 34 and a half Columbia Street. Daily Grind, 37 Park Street. James 410 LLC, DBA McDonald's, 2 Commercial Street. Corner Variety and Luncheonette, 50 Summer Street. Last Pizza, Inc., DBA Domino's Pizza, 80 Summer Street. Topia Inn, 10 Pleasant Street. Coffee Liberation Front, 1 Park Street. Tri-Petroleum, Inc., 160 Holland Ave. Cornucopia Food Truck, DBA Valhalla Eatery, 85 Commercial Street. Yun Lin Food Service, Inc., DBA Lee's Dynasty Asian Fusion, 131 Columbia. That's it.
Motion by Rick, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous?
All right, we're getting down there, I promise. All right, make a motion to approve the auto sale licenses for Alternative Motors of Adams, Inc., 69 Columbia Street. Alternative Motors of Adams, Inc., 74 Columbia Street. Gene Sales and Service, 108 Holland Ave. Maple Grove Equipment, 8 Leonard Street. McAndrews King Buick GMC, Inc., 224 Columbia Street. Ronnie Cycles Sales and Service, Inc., 150 Holland Ave. And Ronnie Cycles Sales and Service, Inc., 63 Elger Street.
Motion by Rick on auto sales licenses, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous decision. And we have the last one, the inn holders and lodging licenses.
Make a motion to approve the inn holder and lodging licenses for Bascom Lodge Group LLC, 1 Summit Road. Hofflinger House, 17 Commercial Street. Mount Royal, Inc., DBA Mount Royal Inn, 99 Holland Ave. Antopia Inn, 10 Pleasant Street.
We have a motion by Rick, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, unanimous decision. And I want to thank the subcommittee for licensing. We still have a little more work to do. I thank Deb, who also puts in a lot of time and effort and supports this subcommittee. So we're very close. We do this once a year. So a lot of businesses and a lot of car salesmen and things like that. So I appreciate all the work you all do.
If I may, I'd just like to thank all of the departments who have to support the license renewal and provide information. So that's the inspection office, also the fire chief, but most importantly to all of the businesses who adhered to the deadlines. There were a few changes that we made with the deadlines this year. A lot of chasing by Deb, but they did all try to get to the deadline, so.
Tax collectors.
And the tax collector's office. A lot of moving parts.
Okay? All right. So next on the agenda is town administrator's report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the board knows, Friday, November 30th was the launch of the town's new website, which is now up and running. Town Clerk Haley Meswar and Administrative Assistant Paula Wheeler have been working very hard over the past year on this project. They've been developing the new site with the host company, Civic Plus. In my opinion, their efforts have clearly paid off. I think the town's web presence is much more attractive and professional looking, and the site is much easier to navigate. Over the next few months, they will be working with town department heads to make improvements, continue making improvements in the site and develop it more fully with additional pages and features. So I do want to just commend them for the effort. It was surprisingly how much effort it takes into developing a site. Similarly, the Adams Free Library also has a new website. Holly has worked very hard. The library director has worked very hard. They launched their site about a month ago. It has its unique domain. It's the site address is adamslibraryma, all one word, .org. And there is Adams, Ohio or something, so it gets very confusing. So they've had to come up with this distinct web address, but they've done also a very nice job, so hats off to the library. So I think we have a much stronger web presence with both of those efforts. I also wanted to update the board. The first meeting of the steering committee for the Hoosick Valley Park project was held yesterday with the town's designer, Wagner Hodgkins Landscape Architects. This is an effort of their work, some of their design concept work, so I just passed that out to the board. Members of the steering committee include Julie Wilk-Chafee, Brent Betty, Heather Linscott, Jim Bush, Rebecca Ferguson, Brandy Nelson, and myself. I think the meeting, this first kickoff meeting with the committee was very productive. We had asked the designer to do, instead of just having a brainstorming session, we asked them to start to get into the site, put some concepts together and present that to the committee in that first meeting. The design project is on a tight schedule, particularly with some of the funding sources for construction, one of which would be Community Development Block Grant. So we expect to have a public meeting sometime toward the end of January, and then there will certainly be more steering committee meetings in the next weeks. The school renovations for the C.T. Plunkett school building, the town is soliciting responses from experienced design professionals to provide assessment, architectural and engineering design, and construction supervision services for renovations to the C.T. Plunkett School building. The request for qualifications, or RFQ, for the project was issued in late November, and responses from interested architects are due to the town administrator's office next Thursday, December 13th at 4 p.m. We've sent out so far, we've sent copies of the RFQ out to about 10, 12 architectural firms, so the interest seems to be fairly robust. We have one architect doing a tour of the building tomorrow. I hope that we will get some very qualified firms responding to the RFQ. I'm anxious to get that work going, as I know is the building committee. And then finally, after an extensive hiatus, the town's emergency planning committee is again meeting. This first meeting was held on November 16th. I've attached the meeting minutes for the board's information. Dick Kleiner, the town's emergency management director, conducted the meeting, and the discussion focused on ways to improve our communications protocols amongst departments, and then we need to work together to update the CEMP, which is the Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan. I don't know if communities are all required to have this, but obviously it's a very smart thing to do. Ours is I'm not sure, I think it's late 80s that it was last updated, so obviously, a lot has changed since that time. Each department will need to update their specific plan, and then there would be the comprehensive. So that work will continue over the next several months. We are meeting again as a committee tomorrow, and Bruce Augusti, the MEMA Regional Director, has been invited, and I believe he's going to participate. So I will keep the board informed, but I did want you to know that we've had some wake-up calls earlier this year, and we are really focused on this and doing a better job of planning for any kind of future events. So, thank you.
Okay, is there any questions or comments for Donna on her town administrator's report?
Yeah, I just have a comment. I just want to assure people, when we had our little tryst about what schools should be opened and which one needed to be closed, the decision was made, and we as a board said that since it's now our building, we're going to continue to do work on it and to get the building up to the way we want to see it, in a way that's safe and good for the education of our children. And this is just another confirmation of our deep-held trust that we're going to do what we said, and I'm happy that that's come about.
Good point, Joe, thank you. No one else? Okay. Next on the agenda is Town Council, Attorney St. John.
Since my last report, I performed work on the following matters: preparation of an outline and attendance at the dangerous dog hearing, assistance in preparation of the order relating to the dangerous dog hearing, correspondence to the interim administrator regarding the town's options relating to MJD property, correspondence to opposing counsel and to the town accountant regarding the Gaines case, review of a proposed amended regional school district agreement, response to questions regarding the special town meeting, preparation for and attendance at the special town meeting, research of and response to question regarding application of the open meeting law, further discussions with MJD counsel regarding the access agreement, receipt of a signed access agreement, and forwarding the agreement to the interim administrator, review of and response to a question relating to an employee's use of vacation time, review of and response to the proposed meeting agenda regarding open meeting law compliance, and review of and meeting concerning issues regarding an annual renewal request of an all alcohol beverages license.
Thank you. Any questions for the Attorney St. John? Okay. Subcommittee liaison reports. Rick?
Before I do that, can I get us to backtrack? Now that I've had a few minutes to think about the earlier discussion on town hall hours, I will make an motion that on Christmas Eve, town hall be closed, and New Year's Eve, we run a skeleton crew in the primary offices. I don't know how to phrase it.
Okay, we'll take the motion in a second, then we'll discuss it. The motion is by Rick. Do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I think we probably have to take it off the table before we vote on it.
I don't.
We didn't table it.
Okay, we didn't, I thought we
No, we
tabled
just,
it.
No, there's no.
we just skipped it because there was no
Okay,
motion at the
okay.
time.
Do we have a second for a discussion?
I'll second it for discussion
Second by
purposes.
Christine for discussion. Okay, so on New Year's Eve, the employees are working half a day anyways, right?
They work a full day.
A full day on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
There is
correct.
no question about New Year's Eve then. There'll be support that day. The only question we have in front of us is Christmas Eve. And the employees, many employees, according to union contracts, they work half a day that day. Okay. So your request is that the union employees have the full day off, along with all other employees at the town hall for Christmas Eve and the DPW, but the DPW will, of course, be responsible for any snowstorms and anything like that.
Correct.
That's, okay.
And just for clarification, I think it would be all town employees except for the PD because of their own unique schedule. Council on Aging, library.
Okay?
Right.
So how would that affect any overtime for the PD if it's, or is that now considered holiday
I
overtime
don't think it's
pay?
tied to other offers.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it would be in their contract to that.
Correct. DPW is often tied to town hall and another building closing and things like that. My understanding, of course, our police chief is here, but my understanding is that is not the case for the PD. They has their own unique.
And if DPW were to get called in, is that now holiday time or time and a half, because they would have the day off? So if
they
we get a
would-
snowstorm on
Right.
Christmas Eve.
Yes.
and they
So
get-
there is a risk if it snows, they have to get called in. There's a, that I believe it costs the town a little extra or something because they're being called in during a day. So, we don't need to make this very complicated. I mean, I appreciate the gesture. I think town staff appreciate the gesture. We're not going to get a lot of traffic on Christmas Eve, I guarantee it. I think it is a different situation New Year's Eve, because I think some people do panic, oh, I've got to pay this or do this just before the end of the calendar year. So I think it rests on, do you want to have the buildings open Christmas Eve or not? And it's, we would still do, I think, given the holiday, liberal leave for any employee. We would try to accommodate employees that have special family plans or are traveling. We always do that, so. I mean, if you're looking for a recommendation from me, I would close town buildings on Christmas Eve, because I really think people are busy with their family and friends on Christmas Eve, so. But it's the board's prerogative, so. We certainly want to serve the public.
Okay. We have a motion, and a second. Any further discussion?
Who was the second by?
I second it.
Christine seconded the motion.
Just a question for Chief. Is it in their contract that they get a compensatory day?
It's always been an agreement that whenever town offices close, the police department is compensated with the amount.
Okay, so, and
if they
that's,
close
I don't
for the whole
know.
day, then they got 8 hours comp time. If they close for half the day, obviously they get 4 hours comp time. But
Okay.
they've always been compensated in that means. And that goes back to former administrator Jim Leach when the town closed one year because all the air conditioners in the old town hall didn't work. And that's how it started.
Leave it, just leave it. So I appreciate the gesture. Then with that information, I think we should just leave it as it stands. It gets very complicated with all the unions, and so I apologize to the board for not being more aware of all those nuances, but
Rick, how would you like to continue?
I don't know. I still think Christmas Eve, because we're gonna heat that up, for one, we're gonna heat the building for one day.
that's
And
true.
then it goes back down for Christmas Day. I mean, it'll be kept at this temperature. So instead of heating it up. And I think it's a nice gesture in that with all the reductions and the increased workloads, I think it's just a nice little thank you, so to speak.
Yeah, I'd want to say I concur with Rick. I mean, I don't want to be the Grinch on New Year's Eve, so
Well, I mean, Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, excuse me, yes.
So I'll amend it to say, town hall closed on Christmas Eve.
Okay. Christine, do you agree with that amendment?
Yes, I'll second the amendment.
Okay. All right, so any further discussion on the motion by Rick and the second by Christine as amended? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
So we have 4 in favor, 1 opposed. Thank you. We were on subcommittee and liaison reports. Rick?
Seeing as I did all the reading, I have nothing.
Okay.
You did a great job
Yeah,
representing the licensing committee.
sorry, P&A.
Christine?
I just have one brief announcement. Prior to getting here to the meeting, I did get a press release from the BRTA, which I've put in front of all of you. I won't read the whole thing. Basically, it's just stating that the BRTA has negotiated in good faith contract with the drivers, schedulers, and dispatchers. However, there's still have not negotiated a contract with the paratransit drivers, and that's still going to affect the fixed route bus service from the BRTA. So I would just encourage anybody who is using BRTA services to make sure that you're checking their website to see what routes have been affected by the continued strike. But at least there is an agreement with their fixed route drivers.
Licensing.
Okay, thank you. Joe?
Licensing.
I don't have anything other than I want to thank Christine for sending me some updates about the BRTA. It's certainly an important mode of transportation for those people that aren't able to get to their workplace. So I really hope that it's resolved quickly. And I think once it is resolved, I think in time we'll have a better BRTA than we do now.
Okay, thank you. Jim?
I don't have anything.
Okay. I have a few thank yous to make. First, I'd like to thank the employees of the Adams Community Bank for putting on the holidays at the Town Common with the lighting of the Christmas tree and all the other events that went along with it. Santa Claus did make an appearance, seems to be well attended every year, so I want to thank them, and they volunteer their time, and the bank does support it financially, so that's in the spirit of Christmas. Some of us did attend a Berkshire Regional Planning Commission dinner recently in regards to the census, which is the federal census is coming in 2020. And we want to be prepared for that, and they provided some ideas, and I think we as a board and the community need to ensure that we have everyone counted as these census, every 10 years are very important in regards to the financial grants that the town does receive. So it's very important that we get everybody counted. There's ways to do this, and they're willing to work with us, so we will get more into that as we get closer to 2020. Let's see. We are still working with Berkshire Regional Planning Commission and Representative Barrett for the funding for the water for the weather. I call it catastrophe that we've had on Lime Street and other areas in the community. We do have the funding and the loan, but the mayor is working with us and the BRPC to retrieve some of those funds through MEMA, and we'll continue to work with them to do that. And we did have Christmas trees donated to the community, and I'm very thankful for that, and I have your name somewhere in here, and I found them. So for the tree at the Town Common, it looks very good this year, and we really appreciate that. The name is Juliana Matthews, and I want to thank her and her family for the donation of the tree for the Town Common. And Yeski's donated the tree on Summer Street next to the grill. It looks great, just the right size to have on Summer Street, so thank you both. The town cannot purchase those trees, and we need to have them people to volunteer to provide them to us, and we're very fortunate every year to have that done. So thank you for those individuals for donating those trees to the community. And I think as of now, I think we're good to go. Anything else on the board?
Go to the order.
Oh, yes, then the go to the order, we got more. Yeah, the go to the order. Rick, anything?
Nothing.
Christine?
It looks like there's an Adams Holiday Stroll happening this Saturday, December 8th. Businesses have been encouraged to participate, so I think it's the businesses along the Loop, Park Street, Summer Street, Hoosick Street. And it looks like there's a number of activities that are happening, including the youth center's Make It Take It fair. The Tinseliner Christmas trains are running. on Saturday as well. So it's a good time to get some shopping done and to walk around and see the decorations as well.
Okay, Joe?
Yeah, just a couple quick things. Chairman Duval mentioned early on in the meeting that we have 3 businesses that will be closing their doors here in Adams. And I've had a few people come up to me and say, geez, what the heck's going on in this town? We can't keep businesses. And I asked them outright, well, have you ever done any shopping at these? Well, no, I haven't. So when businesses close, they close for a reason, and that reason is they're not making a profit. And the businesses that will be closing, I know a few of the people personally, and I just want to say that if they continue, I hope their businesses prosper, but you have to realize in our community, the stores that are closing are stores that have little niche businesses where people with money, with expendable income, are able to go in there and purchase things that they need. And when you compete with big box stores, and you can go to a big box store and buy something for quite a bit less than you could at a shop, and if you can't buy that at a shop and you go to the ones that may be closing, it's going to cost the consumer more money to get that product. That's just the way business goes. And I just want to wish all 3 of the businesses best of luck, and we're going to continue as a town to try to get businesses into our community. I think we've had some success, and a few steps forward, 1 back, but I just want to wish those businesses the best of luck, and it's certainly no reflection on our town that they're leaving. I spoke to 2 of them personally, and it was nothing to do with the town of Adams. It was just a business decision. And the last thing I'd like to say is that, and maybe Jim can attest to this, but I've been very, very impressed with the Berkshire Scenic Railroad, the scenic train that's going to our community. It's been, the ridership has been very high right along, and I think Jim can tell us that the trains during this tinsel liner have been filled on every one of their rides. Early in the fall season, I noticed that we were getting a lot of tour buses coming to people to take a train ride. And when I look at the new parking lot and the visitor center and all the activity that's taking place there, it kind of warms my heart because I think it looks pretty nice. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Joe. Jim, anything?
Yes, going to the pencil liner, the train itself, the Berkshire Scenic Railway, this year is going to approach 10,000 riders, which is huge. The tinsel liner trains are sold out, pretty much sold out. I was Santa Claus on the train Sunday, and I'll be Santa Claus on the train every Sunday till it stops. And every one of the trains are filled. And a lot of them are coming from out of town. Huge bunch of them are coming from out of town, which means feet on the ground in the town of Adams. Businesses should be open with open arms, because these people are here. Welcome them in. Take advantage of the business, because people are coming to town. A lot of people. The other thing I want to bring up is people not cleaning up after their dogs. I was sent a bunch of pictures from the rail trail, which we don't have any jurisdiction on, but I mean, it's disgusting. People, if you're going to walk your dog, take a bag with you, clean it up, for God's sakes, It takes 5 minutes, especially now. It's disgusting. It really and truly is. You walk around town, it's all over the place. 5 minutes. People shouldn't have to step in your dog's duty. Just appreciate it if you clean up.
Thank you, Jim, and I appreciate that you're going to be one of Santa's elves on the train, which is good to hear. Thank you.
Elves.
Okay, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Rick, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.